Episode 25, everybody, of the Legends podcast. Welcome. Just an audio check. Make sure you can hear me. Make sure you can hear everybody else. Chat, let me know. And Tom, you should be good to take over while I sit here and tinker with the on-screen voices.
Do the stream kit overlay, huh? Welcome everybody. Kit? Welcome back to Dragon Ball Legends podcast, episode 25, Holy Trinity Reborn. And before we start, as always, make sure to follow us on all our social media channels. Type !Linktree in the chat to find us on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, and all the other platforms that we're on. And of course, Twitch Prime is not a crime. So if you have that Prime sub, feel free to support us if you want to. It will help us a lot. And before we go on, we just tweeted out, we know that Rose and the Trunks My unit are coming on probably Wednesday. So make sure to check out our Twitter and send us your kits for fan-made characters for either LF Rose or Trunks Mai, or why not do both, for the possibility to be in one of our videos. And with that said, today I am joined by the free-to-play GOAT, Azdi.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
I am joined by the PvP GOAT, Bebop.
What is going on?
I am joined by the realist Bradical.
What up?
We have our engineer, Nasarachi, here.
Speaking of which, I just switched it so whoever's editing this, if there was audio crossover, it should be fixed now. But hello, everybody, again. Hello.
We have the Equipment Geek. What's up, Prof?
What? Oh, yes. Hello.
And we have Sherwood, our Canadian friend. What's up, dude?
What's poppin', everybody?
So with that said, today we're going to talk about, obviously, Zenki Broly. You can already see him on the screen. We will talk about the limit break banner for 600 LFZ power. Is that worth it? We're going to have a quick look at that Frieza event with the two new equips. We will talk a little bit about, hey, what's the future of Zenkai holding now that Broly is the way he is? And today, a lot of people saw it on Twitter or just experienced it firsthand. We had an emergency maintenance. And with that said, we're going to start off with Zenki Broly. And I know, Prof, you were pretty excited for him before he dropped. How did it feel when you got him, and how did it feel in PvP?
So I have seen videos of it at 7. Mine's currently at 3. I know what he's capable of. And a lot of people in the community are kind of, a little miffed. I think he's missing about 30% damage and, more key manipulation. But we'll get into that in a second. But overall, I think the unit is pretty solid. He's not top of the list. I actually like the LF Blue Broly better, but I think this Broly, if you're really wanting to revive the Holy Trinity, he worked extremely well with Bardock. Go figure, right? And it feels like they pulled their punch with this unit, knowing the impact he would have combined with Bardock. I can't think of any other reason why they. I don't know. He got 2 new passives, right? If Nas will pull up the B-roll, I'm only going to read the transformed one. It does change when he transforms. His second 2 passives, they become more potent. Basically, Broly's first passive you get is crap, in my opinion. It's severely limited, very situational. It's a nice cherry on top if that's all they're going for, and it seems like a lot of the adept passives are, but it's nothing like, getting 20% damage inflicted, or any of these crazy multipliers that we're used to seeing on the Zenkai unit. And then with the second one is Insurmountable Opponent. This is actually a pretty solid passive. Before it transforms, it's really weak, but like I said, you're spending all this time transformed anyway. So when he comes into the battlefield, you're going to get 30 key, 30% damage inflicted just permanently until someone wipes it off of you, and -3 to blast arts costs for 15 timer counts. So I don't know. I think that the way you play this unit is you kind of just sit on the field, you gotcha him with a blast armor. It should trigger your first passive Clash of Powers, and then, or is that your second? That's your second one. Yeah, it's your second one. Clash of Powers to give you the damage increase, and you'll do moderate damage with Bardock. You'll do extreme damage again. Just on my stream today, I almost got one shot by just Broly's blue cards. So he's still whipping out numbers, but it's nothing like he was when he first released. But that was a completely different meta, and frankly, Blast Armor interacted with the game differently in that time.
Right. So, what about the others? Who else Zenkai 7'd him here, or who?
I did.
And what is your verdict?
There's one thing I thought that was pretty interesting as well. I did play back in the day when he initially came out, and he was just a monster, right? Like Prof said, with the whole like blast armor in that meta, it was just like it was so dominant. It was crazy. But there was one thing that I had to test for myself, and I actually didn't know myself, and maybe you guys obviously knew about this and people in chat, but. He nullifies type, right? Type disadvantage when he comes in. But the thing that I didn't know was that if you lead with him, it, nullifies the typing, which is normal, and it does it twice. And the thing that's really cool about it is that if you lead with that Broly, switch out, go back in, get your 2 uses, transforms, it actually redoes that too. So you actually get 4 uses of the type nullifiers, which I think is super neat, and I didn't know that personally. I didn't know it reset like that when you transformed. But my overall verdict of him, it's like Holy Trinity or the Highway, honestly. It's like he runs really well with Bardock, obviously. Don't really think we gotta explain that, but I tried running him on movies myself. I've tried running him on Saiyans. It's just he doesn't, you guys can meme me, but I think he's mid. I'm sorry.
Midwood. Brad, what about you?
So I only have him Z3. I mean, I like him because I like Super Saiyans, right? And I agree 100% with what Sherwood's saying is that, like, yeah, it's Super Saiyans of the Highway. Like, he can work well with a couple other units. He's not terrible on movies as Z7. But he's definitely, there's better ways to go about running movies for sure. They definitely downplayed him a little bit, but I think if he was too OP, because he could have been the next Gohan easily. Like they would have taken no effort from them at all to make him the next Gohan, and I think that would have pissed people off more than him just being, a solid 7 out of 10. I don't have a problem with him. He doesn't bug me too much. I think he's cool with Bardock. I like Bardock, so good for me.
Yep, I agree with that statement that you just said. I feel like, and I'm gonna talk about it later, but I kind of feel like a lot of people tend to, I guess, subconsciously or even consciously compare him to Gohan, and just in the sense of just having a unit being Zenkai just be overly OP or busted. Like, I feel like a lot of people, not saying anyone in particular, but a lot of people also feel like they want a Zenkai to be, oh, dude, like, he's Broly, he has to be broken. Like, that's unfortunately a lot of players' mindset, and I feel like people forget that this guy was the king of PvP. Like, this was Gohan in his prime back in the days. Like, this man made people quit. They had to nerf sidestepping. Like, this is a guy you were afraid to play against back in the days, right? And then, of course, his Zenkai was inevitable, but I feel like they had to be very, very cautious how they handled him. Obviously, he's not top tier, but I don't think he's trash either. Of course, I think it's a step in the right direction with how they managed to Zenkai him, because literally if they did something that was going to be completely off or too OP, a lot of people would complain, right? So there's always just that influx of people just saying they want this particular unit because it's, Broly is a majority of the player base's favorite, right? Of course, people are going to want this guy to be, very, very strong, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy the way that they handled him, because if they did something that was just like, all right, like, this guy gotta go, like, he like, this is not fair anymore, people would still complain. People would still find a way to complain. So just be careful what you wish for, because this guy, I feel like, he had his moment back in the days. They shine some light on him now, but I feel like this is okay. Like, this is a good start. This is how I feel Zenkais at least should be in some kind of regard. But I do agree with Prof too. I feel like he could have been a little better, but honestly, this is okay.
Yeah, the chat, you have to keep in mind as well, it's very important that Toshi and the development team is already, like, officially on record stating that Zenkai Gohan and 18 as well were a mistake, right? They didn't really play test them properly, and they've admitted that they probably went a little bit too overboard with them. So I wouldn't expect any Zenkai unit to really like meet him at that level ever again, right? Like until the game naturally power creeps to a point where he's just aged and there's new mechanics out and stuff, like a character that comes out that has like 2 new mechanics like UI Goku or something 2 years down the road. All right, then we'll talk. But I wouldn't set Gohan and 18 as the bar. I would consider them an anomaly. Like compare units to other really high tier Zenkais would be much more accurate to judge how good a unit is versus comparing them to a mistake, basically, right?
My best comparison is Green Broly. I think he's the perfect Zenkai, where he's not overwhelming. He does the job he needs to do. He tanks those hits, but it's not like, oh my god, I'm gonna fight him over and over and over again. It doesn't even matter if I fight him. I'm like, all right, cool. Like it's gonna be a bit of a struggle sometimes, but he's for me the perfect bar is that Green Broly, at least for me.
Comparing like LL Zenkai, you'd want to set the bar at like Namagoku or Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And comparing, you know, non-LL Zenkais, like Brad said, you could use someone like that Green Broly, or you could use, you know, there's plenty of other units that have come out recently that are balanced and really good, but, you know, they're not game-breaking, right? So...
And I kind of like that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's what they originally kind of intended. I don't think they... Because this system is devised, the Zenkai system was created to replace the regular balance adjustments they did with a similar system, but one where they could also profit off of their dev time fixing everything, right? Because time is money. So this system replaces that. I think they originally intended it to be like more of a rebalance, not, oh, let's just make these units absurdly broken now all of a sudden, right? So they just didn't playtest Gohan and 18 properly. They just threw a bunch of stuff on paper, boosted the stats, and like, this should be fine. But now I think they're starting to, they're starting to pay more attention now because they don't want that that debacle, you know, public outcry again, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point to make too, because I think it's pretty just much like well known that it's, even when you're looking at the Z tier list over on Game Press, like I think a lot of people agree that Gohan and 18 are just basically in a league of their own, that they're just already better than the rest of the Z tier units on there. And so I think it is a good point to make that you probably shouldn't have them to be like at the very top of your expectations for the next Zenkai unit, for sure.
Yeah, you'll be disappointed with every single one for the rest of forever. Like, again, until power creep catches up to the point where that's the norm in the game, which I'm assuming will inevitably happen one day. But, you know, until that day, using those characters to set your expectations is going to lead to a lot of disappointment.
Yeah. Also, if that's the norm again, then it's not a problem, because then it means that the unit's not overpowered, but just kind of on par with, you know, where he needs to be, I guess.
Yeah, and you also have to keep in mind that the Gohan was free. I mean, provided you were lucky enough to summon him to 7 stars, you got that power for free. So everyone in the community, I feel like, is going to levy, to a degree, well, like, I get that character for free versus I got to pay 7,000 CC for someone like this Broly, and look at the difference, right? But I'm also saying don't expect, like, any Zenkais coming out anytime soon to be like on that same level. So setting your expectations that high will just lead to disappointment. I would just pay for the, again, like if you're a more budget player, pay for the characters you like, pay for the characters that specifically benefit a team that you're building. This whole Zenkai mechanic falls right in line with something that free-to-play players are gonna have to budget, you know, budget around and build efficiently versus just being able to get everything that comes out, right? That's a luxury for the whales. Free-to-plays, budget players, just concentrate on things that specifically benefit your good teams, right? Or characters you really like, either or, you know. That's your main strategy.
Right. I guess that's pretty much everything's been said about Zenkai Broly for now. The next thing that dropped last Wednesday is the Limit Break banner, so we could summon again for 600 multi-Z power or Legends Limited characters.
Give me 1 second, because when I switch the scene, I'm going to have to add the desktop audio source in one last time.
All right, bum.
I'll tell you when it's ready.
3, 2. In here.
Okay, and y'all should be fine now. And
yeah, so we got the Limit Break banner. I think it's 3,000 Chronos for 600 Legends Limited multi-Z power, and you get like over 1,000 regular multi-Z power. SD, from a free-to-play perspective, how do you feel about this banner?
Honestly, I think this banner holds a ton of value because I honestly was into like deep discussion with this with ZVG, and we basically just came to the conclusion that yes, I really do think that everyone, if you guys have like the means to go ahead and summon on this, I really do think you guys should. Especially because you're getting all that Z power for just a regular sparking unit, and then you can go ahead and just get that 600 LL Z power to go ahead and just hold in your back pocket for whenever like need be. Like, you know, Rose is going to be releasing sometime next week, or I don't know when he's going to be coming out, but you know, it's going to be really good if you can go ahead and just pull him at 2 stars, right? And you don't want to go back in, and then you can go ahead and just use that 600 Z power on him to get him to 3 stars to unlock that extra slot in the Z ability, right? And it's just that alone, I think, is just what everyone is going for. I don't think anyone's going to go ahead and look at this banner and be like, dude, I need these units. Maybe some people, like, you know, they want to go ahead for LF Gohan or Nameku, or maybe even Super Saiyan 3's on it too, right?
Yeah, but this is one of those banners that has nearly every single sparking in the game on it, so you can't summon expecting to get
an LF unit
or anything.
Yeah, I expect heroes. I just want my Z power, bro.
Yeah. Like, you can't be like, oh, I want to summon specifically Demon King Piccolo on this banner. Like, he's got like a 0.0737. Like, you're not going to get any individual unit you want off this banner.
This banner is mainly for resources. Like, that's it. Like literally the last time we got this was December, I believe. And let me see, December 15th. That's when it started. And the fact that they're doing it now, like 3 months later, I know that's a little bit of a gap, but that's pretty huge, because this, like, people, I don't know if people do it, but I feel like people are underestimating how much value this is. Like, this is incredibly worth your chrono crystals. Like, if you are a player that, you know, for a fact that you know, you want to level up a unit that you like, in your favorite unit, or a particular Legends Limited unit, this is your banner. You should summon on this, like, absolutely, because, you know, like as Deke said, you know, you will eventually, you know, get these units that you want later down the road. And look, this is going to be in your back pocket now. Easy, free multi-Z power right there for you. Rose will probably drop this Wednesday, so, you know, you guys could do whatever you wish with that. But, you know, I feel like a lot of people are saying, but my crystals, you know, like, but I mean,
no, but your Z power, bro. Look at your bag.
Yeah. It's
fine.
This is the value you get here is worth so much more than 3,000 CC. Like, even just the LLZ power alone. Like, think of how many units.
Chrono crystal.
You could go like Goresh, like 78,000 chrono crystals without pulling the new featured LL unit. And this right here for 3,000 just guarantees you a pull on any LL unit you want in the game that you already own, right?
Right.
So just based off that, it's worth it. Like,
I mean, if you plan on pulling for Rose and you want a more than like 2-star, you should still give this, in my opinion. You know, like.
Yeah, and like Bebop,
this is just value.
Like Bebop had mentioned, it seems like they're kind of setting this up to run it quarterly, right? Like 4 times a year, because they did it, like you said, in December. Now, you know, if they continue with that and you keep up with like 4 times a year, you know, that's 12,000 chrono crystals, but you get 4 Legends Limited pulls doing that, and that's almost a guaranteed progression towards getting a LL unit Zenkaiable, right? Provided you already have a copy of him, right? So, like, that is extremely valuable.
It definitely is. The one thing that really does grind my gears about this banner, though, is the fact that if you actually go onto your game right now, there's only 11 hours left for this banner, so they know what they're doing. They're not going to let you go ahead and be like, let me take a look at the Rosé banner first and see if, like, let me try to go ahead and just try my hand, pull them, and then if I do pull them, I'll go ahead and summon this. They're not going to let you do that. There's only 11 hours left, so if you haven't summoned on it, this is probably, like, you should probably go ahead and consider summoning on it right now.
Yeah, the last day of banners like this is the advisable day to summon on them. Unless you already have the units that you want to sink all the Z power into, like you're already building that team, you already have them, then you can do it the first day, like what I did, and I just
it's an incredibly smart business tactic to do that.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's basically like a resource sink. They're using it like that. They want you to sink your resources into this before whatever else comes out, so you have to top up again, right? But
And there's actually something, if I could bring up real quick as well, that they also planned out. If you get these, which everybody, you should summon on this, it gets, you obviously can't hold all these, right, in mass quantity. Though some of them will get sent to your gift box, right? They expire, correct me if I'm wrong, in 6 days, right? So when I got these...
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so when I did this when the banner first launched, they were in my gift box for 6 days. Well, this upcoming banner is not going to be out in 6 days, right? So I was basically forced to use a lot of my Z power. I think I could only hold like one of the 200 and then like three of the 100s, I think. So you got to use some of it, but...
Yeah, that's just why it's advisable to wait till the last day to summon on this, because that gives you the maximum amount of time to hold
Exactly.
Z powers.
I was gonna actually say that. Yeah, like if you're
myself.
one of those people that like summon immediately, I feel like these kind of banners are very rare, right? Like these things are not gonna appear like next month, right? Like, you know, I'll be surprised honestly if they release this kind of banner in anniversary, but I doubt it. But if they do, I recommend that everybody from now on, if you're not doing it already, summon on the absolute last day. If you have every intention to summon on this kind of banner where you get these guaranteed resources, absolutely summon on the last day. Set an alarm or something, because don't summon on it immediately unless you're just that hasty already and you're already set on, you know, leveling up your particular unit. But I recommend honestly to summon on it the last day. So like Nas said, you have the maximum days and time to, you know, wait out to see, okay, I know there's a banner coming up, they just announced an LF, there's maintenance like tomorrow or in a couple days, like I can wait, I can have these resources in my gift box and have enough time to you know, use them. So that's what I feel like you guys should do, because again, like these banners are very, very rare. I don't know how, I don't think it's gonna be like every 3 months kind of thing either, because honestly, that's just too generous. But hey, if it happens, then we're eating good, you know. But
Yep, for sure.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, like
Just summon last day.
For context, I summoned on this the second it came out because I just wanted to dunk the LL multi Z power straight into my UI Goku to get him 3 stars. So I just did it the first day. I have one of the 200 Z powers left in the gift box, and it only has 2 days left till it expires. Versus if you summon today, you'd still have those full 6 days to hold all of the extra ones. And the Rose banner, like Bebop mentioned, will probably be out within that time frame if you waited.
That's big brain plays right there.
Learn from our mistakes.
Yeah, again, unless you already have the units you want to invest in. Like I'm building up my, you know, my Saiyans team. I really wanted to get a couple of my Saiyans up to 6 stars and the UI Goku to 3 stars at least, because he can buff the other God Key on the team that way. So unless you're already set, then wait, you know. That's the move right there.
yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I remember today, I think I read in the YouTubers group chat, like Zakashi pulled 0 sparkings on the entire rotation. So you can also get Omega shafted, but you're still good because you got that Z power. So
yeah, I mean, I got red metal cooler once, and I got I don't even remember. It was all trash though, like you said.
Yeah, I got purple Scatter Vegeta twice.
Really,
It's
rain
nice.
sparkings and an LF going on me. I thought it was like rigged rates.
Oh, I daily singled LF Gohan on that Masters Pack Z banner. So there, that's
Twitch streamer rates.
I got the red Bardock. Got him the red too as well, so I was like, okay, it's not bad.
I could see. Somebody brought up a good point. I saw someone comment that, but you know, the anniversary is in 3 months, so who knows? We probably will see it, but don't get your hopes up. You know what I mean? Like this banner's too good. I know that like they'll easily profit off of it anyway, but the last thing that they want is to give these out like candy. You know what I mean? Like it's a smart business tactic, but at the end of the day, they have to realize like, you know, it's gonna sound very greedy, but you know, handing these out is like, I feel like they're not gonna get as much money. You know what I mean? Because they obviously want you to summon on these banners without these kind of resources, right? So this is just being generous. So definitely, like I said earlier, wait till the very last day to summon on it. Because if you summon on this when it came out on the 9th and you have all these resources waiting on your box, that's it. It's over for you because you have to use them up because it's just going to expire already.
Yep.
Sad boy hours.
Sad boy hours.
It's always sad boy hours.
But honestly, in a way, this banner is kind of like Zenkai, as in you get something guaranteed, right? Because you know what you're getting, and everything else
way
is just
more.
It's
worth way more. Yeah.
Is a cherry.
You don't feel as bad when you get shafted. Like, all right, you didn't get the unit that you wanted, all right, but you can guarantee now to level that person up when you eventually get them, right? So,
yeah.
Like,
and also,
on the banner. Oh, go ahead.
The expectation you're going in is a totally different one because most people don't go in and saying, oh yeah, I'm gonna get Red Bardock to Red 2. No, they're gonna say, oh, let me get that 600 Legends Limited Z power, right?
Hey, you stop that shade,
dude.
You're not summoning on a banner where the featured art has GT Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Rage Trunks because that's like, oh, that banner's great. Like, no.
Pain.
I like waiting like 50 counts to transform.
Yeah, because how old are those units? Like almost like what? Like 8 months, 9 months?
Every single unit in this banner art's like a year and a half old.
Yeah.
Well, the Trunks
ridiculous.
and Goku are about 10 months old from
a year and a half. Maybe even longer on the Gohan. He's he's like a year and a half old.
But I mean, he got his Zenkai last year, so I guess in a way that reduces it because his kid got the overhaul, right? And I feel like that might be a bit of another way of them trying to either reward us for summoning on it by potentially getting like a Zenkaiable LF or baiting. Not sure however you want to frame it this way.
Look at the resources, not the summons.
Exactly. But
I want to go ahead and put a disclaimer, or my bad.
Go ahead.
I wanted to go ahead and put a disclaimer out there for the chat is that I am, you guys can go ahead and call me a bum, but I have yet to summon on this banner. I do advocate summoning for it, but dude, like, I am just so desperate for pulling an LF unit. I am just absolutely I haven't pulled a new LF unit in like since Vegeta Blue came out. And so I think I'm just going to go ahead and risk it all and dump all of my CC into Rose, just praying that I get this man. But,
no,
it really just do be like that. I definitely do think this has incredible value overall. I do advocate for summoning on this, but, it just be like that sometimes.
It'd be a 2-star Rose, unless you don't really care about grinding. You just want a fancy little LF unit.
Well, it's partly I definitely do just want the fancy PNG. But yeah, at the same time, when I think it was like when UI Goku came out, they gave us the 100 LL power for free, right? And so I haven't pulled the new LF that I have it since that time. So I still have that 100 the LLZ power sitting in my box, just collecting dust. So that will go to the Rose to get him to 3 stars if need be, if I can get him.
Give me your phone.
They mentioned that this might be like quarterly, right? So if you pull 1 copy of any Legends Limited unit and then pump this 600 power into it, you can get them to 7-star.
In a year?
Dude, yeah, that actually might be the play. But
we're talking about units like Gohan that are getting Zenkais. UI will eventually get a Zenkai, right? It will happen later on down the road or whatever. And this is how you get these units to 7-star without summoning on every banner.
Yeah, honestly, that's a very good point. And after having this discussion, I definitely do feel like more inclined to summon on this, especially now that there's only like 11 hours left. I am definitely starting to feel that FOMO.
Oh, that FOMO's kicking in.
Yeah, it really is.
Especially if you don't pull Rose and then you realize you could have grabbed this guaranteed 600 Legends Limited power that'll sit there until you actually do get the LF unit.
And even if you're completely free to play, they're going to tempt you like, look, just buy the battle plan once, you get half the crystals back,
Yeah.
You can use
how much CC do you have saved up? Do you have like 20k or something saved up?
I have 15k right now.
Oh, dude, spend it, man. You got 12k left then. Yeah, spend the 3k.
Listen to me, buddy. Summon on this banner. Now. Leave the podcast. Do it right now.
Oh, you can do both at the same time. Don't leave the podcast.
Do it right now on stream. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't listen to Shermid, okay?
Yeah, don't listen to Shermid. Actually, no, listen to me.
Speaking of which, so one way to get chrono crystals is content, and part of content was released last Wednesday with this new Frieza event. What is it called? Look at this. Your battle power is astonishing. Sherwood, have you finished it?
Yes.
And I can just take it from the sound of your voice. You absolutely loved it.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Okay. So, look at this. Your power level is astonishing. Same old beat Frieza or beat specific person over and over and over again. Every 5 missions or every 5 battles you gotta do missions. Goes all the way up to 50. Then you get that 51 battle that gives you a calling card that I believe doesn't give you any stat bonuses or anything. Just gives you a calling card. But it's a cool calling card. There's boost units, of course. This one does come with 2 new equipment though that you can grind for. I found that Battle 40 is the best one to grind as it gives you both of them on that one. So I've been grinding that. I got my first copy of the Broly exclamation mark equipment as a Z, and I'm currently rerolling for a Z plus on the Do It for that base critical and throwing that on my Z7 purple Broly there. But this event, same old. If I'm gonna be real with you guys, I don't like this format, but I appreciate the crystals here and there. I think it's a total of 1,000, right? 500 for beating it, then 500 for the missions. Am I right on that?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I don't like this format. You guys take it away.
No, that was good, man. I mean, you know, these are the same things that we've, you know, gone through day in and day out when we get these kind of events. I'd hope that, you know, they could spice it up one day, but I mean, this is what we got. Something we got to live with for now. But yeah.
Yeah, there's not really much else to say about events like this at this point. It's
Yeah.
just like they pick a character that's come out recently. You get a 51 stage event where that character is like the focus of the AI you play. I mean, we've seen this countless times over by now. You know, it's a welcome source of crystals, but it's an obnoxious drain of like 2 hours, and then you gotta wait like 3 days for the full event to unlock. But this is just like straight up bread and butter for Legends at this point. The only thing this one seems kind of late. Like this character came out for what, the New Year's, right, or whatever.
But
Well, they're running the Broly Zenkai right now.
Yeah, he's the boost unit.
No,
one of
I think that if these events wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have to constantly swap up your team or think about it. If each 5 levels was more of like a time challenge, or like, you know, perfect the boss or whatever the heck it may be, it'd be, you know, far less painful than what the current system is of run a couple hero units, use 3 green units, don't rising rush, do rising rush, that kind of crap.
Where you have to constantly swap out a team, over and over again.
Yeah, like if they just made it to where it was like they knew that the stage 10 was stupid easy, so they made it to where it's like beating 10 timer counts, stuff like that. Like that'd be a little bit more interesting than what we're currently going against, like over and over and over battles of just mindless swapping. Because it's not hard, guys. This will honestly take you like 2 hours at most to go through like entirely, and then you're just kind of getting annoyed the whole time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the flip side, I feel like these are the kind of events I feel like you just take your time on, because like nobody wants to sit here. Like prop side, I know you said like you can grind it easily in 2 hours, but I feel like, bro, I don't even recommend that either. Like just play like you know, a good amount, like 10 stages, and just call it a day after bed, and just, you know, just take your time with it. Because, you know, I feel like it might spike up another like conversation, but these are the kind of things, like these kind of events, I feel when we grind them just off the boat, like just right off the bat, you know, then we're left with like, all right, now, yeah, you burn out and you're like, now what? Like Legends is dry right now, you know what I mean? Like just take, these are the kind of things, yeah, you gotta be very, you know, chill about things, and also just kind of just take your time with it, because, you know, then you're gonna burn out and be like, yo, like I don't got anything else to do, like I don't know, but that's just me. Like just take your time with these kind of events. They're not meant, I hope one day it could be fun, but I feel like like nothing is gonna change right now, so this is something we gotta just deal with and just play at your own pace. You know, don't just grind it all in a day and be like, all right, that's it.
Unless you don't have a PlayStation, a job, or a computer, and this is, if you know Life Legends, then yeah, have at it. But if you got other things to do, there's no reason to rush.
How much can you no life this event though? Like if it takes after 2 hours, you are back to no life but no game.
Just keep replaying it for clips.
Well, you can't even no life it when it launches. There was 2 time gates.
It's time gated, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd have to wait 3 days. But I guess I can tie with this event. How do you guys feel about the new equipment, the 2 new ones?
The Awakened Flaw for Broly. So I guess Powerful Opponent movies is freaking awesome.
Yeah, that Awakened of the first PvP equip ever in the game is actually quite good. And you'll want 6 of them for your Powerful Opponent team, probably.
Well, movies, you realistically are going to need like 3 to 4 of them.
Which one?
The Broly, the very first PvP equipment that ever released in the game ever, like
Ah, yes,
whatever.
wow.
And they awakened it finally, and
Awakened
it's
it,
freaking fantastic. It's like 22% strike attack, special and ultimate damage up to like 12.5 or something like that.
And
that's in the
shop, right?
Huh?
Yeah, it's a Zenkai Rush thing. So
Yeah,
it's only there.
Oh, yeah,
well,
so
no,
you
yeah, you
get
get
the
the material for that,
ingredients.
and then the Z Metal shop has had it for forever.
Oh yeah, the Z Metal shop does have it. You're right.
But you gotta get like the memories from the Rush Metal shop.
Yeah, I remember.
Oh, those memories, man, they're expensive.
Yep. Imagine having Rush Medals.
Right.
But the item is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
Like
For the other 2 equips, I like how if you stack them side by side, it says "Do It Broly," because one's Do It and the other's Broly. But I definitely think the Do It one is better. The other one is restricted to only Frieza, and like the health buff on it's nice, but it's got like a health restoration.
Lineage, right?
Yeah, movies and Lineage of Evil. So it's mostly meant for the red DBS Frieza, but you could use Cooler as well. Yeah, all the Coolers could use it. But again, I think the Do It one's a little better because it's got crit and it's got strike attack and blast attack, so double offense and crit, which is really good. And lots of characters can use it, just Powerful Opponent and range type. So
I got a perfect slot on Saw 1 too, 15% solid. I was super happy about that.
Yeah, I think that one's way more versatile and way more useful, but again, if you happen to run LOE a lot, then maybe the Broly one would be pretty good. It'll stack well, particularly if you have the Chilled on the bench, because he's buffing health and health restoration as well, so you'll get a little double stack off that. And then double defenses. So, I mean, this is a good, like, 3rd equip to have on a Frieza or Cooler, I guess, just to make him a little bit more tanky, but otherwise it's not probably a best in slot, I would say. Probably not.
It's not that hard to get a Z either. I noticed this equipment's not that weighted. I actually got an accidental Z while upgrading my D rank equipments randomly with a high Saw Green. I noticed this one was way easier to get a Z on.
Yeah, you could probably make good use of this, like someone in chat mentioned, on the Zenkai 7 Red Cooler. It would probably go well for him since he heals and he's all about being more defensive. So, yeah, that would probably work well with Red Cooler with Chilled on the bench. You'll see some nice stacking effects from this.
Yeah. I mean, also the Red Cooler heals the entire team, right?
Yeah, with his main.
So technically, if you have this equip on all the other units as well, they should also get an increased health restoration there too, right?
Yeah, if you're running like 2 Coolers and then that red DBS Frieza, yeah.
For example, yeah.
Like
And someone put in the chat, Zenkai Chilled, bruh. Imagine if he just had like all that health restoration.
Oh yeah, like you can't use this on the LL Frieza. So they were, they planned it out.
Zenkai Chill, dude. His Z ability though, oh my god.
It should be purple LOE, which would only benefit transforming Cooler and LL Frieza right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Still good enough.
Even with Zenkai Chilled, I don't think will ever be anything else but a bench unit. I don't see him ever being useful. They'd have to.
That's what he deserves.
Well, we haven't Zenkai'd any of the HP benches yet.
Oh yeah, like the God Q or this guy or
SSJ3 coaching.
It's like permanent value if any of them get a Zenkai.
Just as a bench. Yeah. I mean, Chilled's bench is already really good. It's just wasting a character slot for someone you could use in battle. LOE is one of those tags where most all the bench units, for the most part, could also be viably used in battle, if you're building your team properly with all the newest available options. So could be a waste of a slot bringing chilled, but the Z ability is quite helpful.
All right, I guess we pretty much said everything that there is to say about this event. And the next thing is we already touched on it a little bit earlier when we talked about Zenkai Broly, but a lot of people are now debating on whether the future Zenkais will be, let's say, as balanced as that Broly, or what do you think Bebop the future has in store for that system?
I'm gonna be real. I feel like the way they handled Broly and like, you know, the past several, or I wouldn't say past several, but like the past few Zenkais that they have Zenkai'd, I feel like it's gonna go in the right direction. It's just like we said earlier, you know, people will always reference Gohan and 18, right, as the prime, you know, duo, as like these characters are just broken, right? Like like they failed at Zenkai, right? Like those were just their mistakes, right? That, you know, we have to carry on and be traumatized for the rest of our PvP and experience. But I feel like, you know, obviously they're still tinkering with just Zenkai overall, right? They're still experimenting with stuff. They want to see what works and what doesn't. So I feel like in the future we will see more characters like Broly, not too overly busted, not too weak in a sense, but just enough that, you know, oh, if you want to use him, like, you can. He's not going to be like super optimal. Maybe he will, but he's going to feel fair, right? I feel like that's how it's going to be handled. But I feel like, again, with all the backlash that, you know, the community constantly gives the devs for their mistake, I feel like this is something that we got to move on at this point. It's understandable. Everyone has that right to feel upset and frustrated in just regards to how they handled it the first time. But, you know, obviously, you know, shit happens, right? So I think that this is something that we got to just, you know, move along with. And I just acknowledge, like, all right, maybe they will bring out better units or, you know, better Zenkai. You know, this is something that we have to move forward on and just accept it.
Yeah, again, I think basically it all goes full circle with what we did again mention earlier, that 18 and Gohan are anomalies, and to not set them as the bar for your expectations, and you'll probably be a lot less disappointed most of the time. Alternatively, I still think that there's going to be somewhat of a sliding scale where some Zenkai units are going to come out and they're just inherently more valuable than other ones, and that just is what every card game does. Like, it's a fundamental core aspect of designing a card game that's they have to design bad cards on purpose, because not every single card in a card game can be amazing and good, because then there's no scale, there's no way to classify anything. It's just chaos, right? There has to be some value, like unspoken value system behind the scenes, where some characters are just inherently more valuable than others. It's basically like duality, you know, without bad there can be no good, without good there can be no bad. That applies to everything in life. So not every character that comes out can be good, and that's why we get ones that are sometimes not so good and other ones that are like, wow, where did this guy come from?
Yeah, like Yellow Bro, he's the best in the game.
I think that most people, though, like, and I know this is kind of like a card game, but they see it more like a fighting game. And it's kind of really, imagine if Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta came out and he sucked, and then you tell them, well, I mean, sometimes the units are going to suck.
I mean, that's just how it is. Like,
I mean, look at Gogeta Blue now, right? He doesn't suck, but a lot of people were disappointed, right? So, like, obviously we'll get another version of the Gogeta Blue that everyone has high expectations for. Even I was like, damn, like, I was like, I was expecting this guy, like, he was the one that I wanted, like, since day one, right? But, like, you know, obviously the card draw was like a slap in the face, and then they Zenkai'd Gogeta, right? Like the red one. So it's like, really? Like, you really just did that? But, you know, like, he's still usable, right? But he's not like how we all expect, and obviously, like, he's not related to Zenkai, but still, like, this is a reference to, like, how I feel like they could manage these kind of Zenkais. Eventually we'll get, you know, a better version of that unit that isn't so good, right? You know, I know that's gonna suck for a lot of people. Like, I know nobody wants to see that or hear that, but I think Nas brought up a good point of that. Like, there has to be bad and there has to be good. in order for the game to progress, because that's just how it's been.
Even Professor, in your example with like a fighting game, like look at Fighters. Even in that game, there's a tier list for the characters, and some of them are widely recognized.
Well, I'm not thinking it's not tier list. Like there's some units that they come out and they're just like, why did you make this unit, right? And
yeah, of course.
I think that Broly does not fall into that category. I like him. I'm going to Z7 him. I know that he's not the greatest thing in the world, but he holds his own. But I think that's where Zenkai should be. And Bebop made a statement like, these are older units coming back. They kind of already had their time, right? And I think that DKP, if you're running Powerful Opponent, should probably be the new shiny toy that you're more inclined to run than this Broly. But I mean, I guess it's a different argument. I don't want units to be bad. I just kind of want them to reach a happy middle ground where there's a reason to run everybody.
I think like what you said, I agree with what you said, by the way. I was gonna say also, like, as far as Zenkais go, honestly, like we know, like, the thing I don't agree with obviously is how they released them, right? Like they just pooped them out like crazy. Like we needed a break, right? Especially with the resources that we had were limited. And it started to feel overwhelming, and it gets very tedious just Zenkaiing them. Like if they had a better system, then I feel like a lot of people would be happy. But I feel like the way they handled it so far, where it felt like, yes, like these Zenkai units are the way to go, right? Like LFs, for example, right? And it's still like that now, right? Like, we feel like LFs aren't as valuable as Zenkai now, right? Because you're gonna look at a Zenkai and look at all his stats and his entire kit, and you're gonna look at this LF who's gonna feel very underwhelming as opposed to the Zenkai, right? I feel like now I'm starting to notice it. Maybe not a lot of people are, but I'm noticing the pattern that they're doing with, like Broly is just, he's clearly the prime example right now, the main focus of I feel like they're gonna keep with that pattern. Especially from now on up until anniversary, and maybe even more. We'll probably see more stuff, but I feel like the way they handled it up until now, they're starting to realize, okay, we got to tone it down. We have to release these kind of Zenkais, give them a little shine, give them a little, a little spit polish, but that's it. They're not going to be like Gohan. They're not going to be like Super Saiyan 3 Goku. They're not going to be like that. Like, there'll be enough to just use them, and that's it. Like, all right, like you had your fun, that's it. Like, they're not going to feel overwhelming anymore. And at least that's what I would hope, but I think from just that alone is a good reason to feel like, all right, this is how it's actually going to be from now on. That's just me, though.
Yeah, I think they're trying to get it to a spot where these Zenkais are more of like the balance adjustment, as opposed to like the professor mentioned how they don't necessarily want these old units like competing with like, oh, DKP just came out. Like they want you to summon for DKP, not just be like, screw it, I'll just use Broly and forget about him. So yeah, like they want things to be kind of, I think their intentions are basically what Professor said is what he wanted, where everything is pretty much usable on some type of sub-team build. Like, say you want to use DKP, well, you're running the Dragon Ball team, but you want to use Broly, and you're running movies. Okay, well, like, both of those characters can fill the same spots, but every character will be viable and have a reason to hold some placement on some sub-build of a tag, right? So I think that's what they're trying to do. Ultimately, it's just been a bumpy road with characters like 18 and Gohan again, setting people's expectations just astronomically way too high due to a lack of proper play testing.
I do think we're getting better. Sorry, I'll let you go in a second. I do think we're getting better. I think it's significantly getting better. People can say whatever they want about the meta being crazy, and it is fun when the meta shifts and it's like drastically different. But it's also not fun, like, if you don't get the unit. So like half the player base is like, sick. That's cool. Yeah, he looks really sick. So like I get that aspect as well. I mean, the last 4 months for me have gotten way better. Even when I use something like Vegeta Family, I think they're really solid now. 2 Zenkais. I have them Zenkai 6 when they come back with dailies. But the blue Trunks and then the yellow Vegeta, they don't feel overwhelmingly dominant, even though they're crazy good. I like that. way more. I've had a lot more fun with PvP since like I think Gogeta Blue and Broly came out probably. That was about when I was like, okay, these LFs are usable that are coming out, even at 2 stars, totally viable to use them. No problem on that one. The Zenkais are a lot more balanced. No problem on that one. You can build these cool teams because they have their Zenkai buffs, which I personally like. That's the only thing I've ever looked forward to with Zenkais the last like 2 years, is that you can build crazy, just weird teams that it's like, who's running this? Like I had Omega boosted by Gogeta, the red Gogeta Zenkai. And it's just kind of cool to do those kind of things, you know? I'm okay with it where we're sitting at the moment. It's more the other little things. We've always talked about PvE being an issue. For me, that's probably the biggest thing because it just feels boring, right? But I don't know. I'm constantly one of my opinions. So I was upgrading equipment. I'm gonna go back to upgrading equipment.
Dude, if we do get like another busted Zenkai unit, if they ever do, go ahead and just want to walk in that territory again. Yes, dude. Sherwood, you already know, bro. I want them to give it to GT like so badly.
Yes.
I feel like that team is just like so far from saving at the moment. Like I don't know what can save them at this point.
They're on life support at this point, dude. Like I'm trying every day. Like I'm making my daily visits to the GT team. You know, just checking in. It's like it's gonna be okay. All right. Like your time will come. Like I'm trying my best to keep GT like under control. You know, but it's really hard because he comes into the battlefield and then he's out of the battlefield. You know, and then it's like, oh well. Sorry, GT.
Goresh has illustrated most of the problems with GT. How it's just the units don't sell very well. They could still use them if they just peppered them into other banners with more hype units that would carry the banner. I don't understand why they're not doing that.
If it's not Super Saiyan 4, people are not going to want it. Like, let's just put it like that.
Yeah. So, you know, besides the Shadow Dragons arc onwards, GT just does not sell very well. And also, even if they were to start Zenkaiing those units, more often than not, like Goresh also mentioned, people would just take those units and use them on other teams that are not GT.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, exactly. Super Saiyan 4, Vegeta Goku, that's going on Saiyans, Son Family, Vegeta Family. That's not going on GT.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's fine, but the idea is they give the GT players an option. Like, and there is an undeniable support for Super Saiyan 4. Like, if they just made the Super Saiyan 4 Purple Goku like a wicked good unit, I mean, Sun Fam would probably like go crazy, but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah, that's the design space problem that Goresh said. Like, they would have to specifically set up his kit, like, be it his Zenkai abilities, like only purple
strictly
GT
for
buff.
GT.
Yeah, or
that, or just like his unique, right? His kit. It would say he works well with these GT units. Like, you can't run, like, if you run him in Sun Family, he's not going to be as good as if you would on GT strictly, right? So, like, that's how they should handle it.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's just going to be a Son Family, Vegeta Family, or Saiyans buff.
It's just a constant repeat recycle of just Sun Family. Like, everybody wants variety. Like, I feel like we should have variety, right? So, like, that's what it should be.
The first thing people are going to do when Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta drops is run him on a Fusions or a Saiyan team full of Zenkai units. Like, they're not putting him on GT to start off with. Like,
right, because when you think of GT, who do you automatically think of, right off the top of your head? Super Saiyan 4s, right?
Yeah.
Like Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4, Goku, and Vegeta. That's it. No one's really thinking about Omega. Like, come on, let's be honest, right? So, like, it's
Omega came out when Vegeta Blue came out, dude.
Right,
yeah, dude. Like, just set him up for failure.
That's how they did it. Like, that was successful.
That's how they get their sales.
GT versus Super, right? But instead of doing GT versus Super, maybe just put the GT units on both banners and have them carried that way. Because I'm sure the Super banner made tons more money than the GT one did in that anniversary.
You guys are capping right now in chat. You guys are just saying everyone else but Super Saiyan 4. I don't believe you.
Man, okay, you know what banner I would summon on for GT? Like, I would summon on a banner that's from the Super 17 arc where it's Kid Super Saiyan 3 Goku and then an LF Super 17. I would summon on that, but I know it wouldn't make that much money. I know, but I would personally summon on that.
I get it.
Like,
a Kid Super Saiyan 3 sounds awesome.
A lot of
we don't have a Kid Super Saiyan 3.
Yeah, they can do a transforming version of Super Saiyan 3 Kid and Super Saiyan 4. It would be money. But I mean, and then Baby 2, Super Baby 2, they could do like a Baby 1 that transforming unit into Baby 2. Like, there are GT units that are good that would perform really well in this game, but I guess they just don't want to put the dev time in them because they're like, oh, it's probably not going to sell that well. But they need to.
Yeah.
You know? Like, we need transforming
Thinking
versions for these GT characters. And Zenkais, too. Like, does GT even have a transforming character? I don't think so.
No.
No.
Let alone an LL or a Zenkai. Like, they don't even have a standard transforming unit.
They have, like, literally you'd have to scrape them from scratch and redo their entire team. Like, that entire roster just gotta go. And just dump in some new ones, some busted ones. Sure, we'll cry and complain about it later, but then we'll probably eventually be happy. Like, all right, like, now we can use them, right? Because, like...
Yeah.
What about
we have
Zenkais and Shenron? Yellow.
You could salvage,
Nobody would do that.
Right now, the only two that are salvageable...
It'd be good, though.
There were like 2 people that would just do it.
Me.
Goresh would do it.
Me.
And that's it.
The only two
but
that are salvageable right now would be the green Super Saiyan 4 Goku and the Omega Shenron. But then that's just assuming that, you know, if the purple or the red Super Saiyan 4 got Zenkais, they'd be good again too. But as of right now, I'd say those are the only 2 salvageable GT units.
So green Super Saiyan Goku, the G, bro.
No, the Super Saiyan 4 one.
No, I know, but I'm thinking about Kid Goku now. Like, if he ever got a Zenkai, no, I'd be terrified. That's someone you got to be terrified for.
Oh yeah, the one that's got blast damage and card draw speed
and
out the ball.
definitely deserving. Yup, because he'd be a replacement of the Holy Trinity. Because bro, that card draw speed and blast, nah.
Dude, he's still. I just used him the other night in a video that I'm putting up this week.
Right?
He's actually not even that bad. Like, he actually like nuked hardcore.
Yeah.
The creds, huh?
It's just terrifying to think about now. But listen, like, if that's what it takes to get GT to be back, or I don't even know if they were ever on top, but just to have them on the radar at least, then yes, so be it. I'll accept that green Goku getting a Zenkai, either of them. They deserve it, because none of them have a Zenkai. None of them have even an LF, like Nas said. There's nobody there that you can be like, yeah, I'm proud of this unit. I used them. That's bull, and you know it. But I have a feeling we'll have more GT.
Yeah, like I said, they don't even have a standard issue transforming unit yet, so hopefully they
And Zenkai. All right, let's ban this person. Hold on.
Yeah, someone in chat was part of a good point too. Like, that Super Saiyan Kid Goku, he doesn't even buff GT, does he? He's just a Saiyans buffer, isn't he?
Yeah, he's Saiyan blast attack and defense.
His Zenkai ability could still buff
green GT. Yeah,
And that would make
no, make it green Saiyans, make it broader.
And people say Maju, but like, where would he even be? He'd just be trash. Like, he's dope.
Would he be a transforming warrior? No?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
He would
just be trash.
He'd
be dead on arrival. Yeah. DOA.
Wait, couldn't you just slap him on regen though? Maybe.
Oh, I actually didn't think about that. But nah, they'd give him some restrictions. There's no way. Like, I don't believe that.
Boob isn't regen though. He's a reincarnation of Boob, but he doesn't.
Maju, I think.
Well, Maju would be regen.
Oob would just be Earthling. But Maju,
they give him the absorption tag?
Absorption. I don't think fusion.
Get buffed.
I don't think he'd get a fusion tag. Hell no.
Dude, you would play him
the one thing, dude, is give him Fusion Warrior.
Yeah, you played him with the prominent fusion warriors like Zamasu and Omega.
That'd be good. I would. Hey, dude, Omega made it. Oob could definitely make it, or Maju.
If Maju was on region, I wouldn't.
Dragon Balls.
That would be
Let's
weird.
Make a GT saga.
That would be the first good guy to come into Regen for a long time. Like, since Piccolo, like LL Piccolo was the last good guy Regen, right?
It's been a year ago. All right, I think it's time to move on to our last topic, and that's a pretty fresh one. And yeah, we had that emergency maintenance today for I don't know how long. Last that. Did you even notice
I mean, it's identical to the last time this happened. What, like a week ago, right? Like, game went down for a little bit because it's classified as an emergency. That's always a situation where they consider compensation because it's an unscheduled maintenance. So I think that they're just going to give out 300cc and move on with it. I mean, there's some type of network problem. I was actually accepting my daily missions this morning, and I got like an endless loading bar. Tried to reset the game, and then I got the screen that you currently see. I'm very familiar with. So I just took a nap. So I woke up, game was back up, 300cc in the pocket, hopefully, and we can just move on and forget about it. Now, I don't know if, what the actual quantity is. They just gave 300 last time the game was down for 3 hours. If it was only down for an hour and a half.
Say 150 cc, they say in chat.
125.
Sparking metals.
Yeah, we got 300 last time and it was down for 3 hours, so if it was only down for like an hour and a half, then it's probably less. I didn't read the news, chat, just full disclosure. So it's just the game's down for a little bit. If it's an emergency maintenance and it's an unscheduled downtime, they're always going to give something away. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, I just checked. News says 150, so chat.
Yeah, and any unscheduled maintenance equals some type of compensation, be it large or small, which is fine with me, because like I said, I was napping anyway, so it didn't really impact my day in the slightest. So,
free chronos for chilling.
Yeah, if they're going to give away, they need to take an hour emergency maintenance. I mean, the game is up 24/7, 365 days a year. I would assume some people out there might have been upset that live in a certain part of the world where that specific time frame was the only time they had available to play. But it happens. It's one afternoon, right? Like, it's not going to hurt anything. Go play another mobile game. Go play some
or just chill.
Yeah. Go like play some sports or something.
Some
Dokkan.
Yeah, isn't that game been down for like a week too though? So maybe not a good recommendation. But yeah.
Global, huh?
Global
play without
Dokkan.
item.
Yeah. But beyond that, this is just something that's going to happen from time to time. I wouldn't get upset over it because it's pretty normal. Games have these issues sometimes. Like every game in the world has had maintenance that has some type of like online hierarchy or structuring to it. So it's just the facts of life. You get a gift for it, what's to complain about?
Fair. I guess those are good closing words for the discussion portion of the podcast. So we're going to take a quick break and we're going to be back with the questions. As always, if you want your question on the podcast, make sure to follow us on Twitter or join our public Discord and ask your questions in the correct thread or channel. And during the break might be a good time to check out our Twitter and send us your submissions for the fan-made Elof Rosé and for the fan-made Trunks and my kits, so we can react to them and potentially put you in a video. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Twitch Prime is not a crime. I love you, chat.
Yes, we're back now. So welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. Hope you enjoyed the commercials. I can't hit you with the world flight all the time, chat, because I need to keep it unpredictable. I need to keep you all on your toes.
Yeah, the bums are back in town, and obviously this is the time for questions. And the first question, we always start off with our public Discord. And the first question is coming from one of our regulars, Absolute Zero 273. If we get an event similar to Buhan, what reprint unit would you like to see from the future arc? Maybe Zamasu, Super Saiyan 2 Trunks, Mai, or one of the Super Saiyan Blues? What do you think?
Yeah, Zamasu, the green one. Not because I don't like the red one at all. I want a new version of him. That'd be dope.
From the future arc specifically?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I know this one's a hard one.
The Super Saiyan Blue.
Because we already got 2 Mai's, right?
Oh, I just don't really. The future arc is not my bread and butter, so I don't really particularly care.
Understandable. We got a lot of future units regardless too, so.
I'll say Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue. I want a free-to-play Vegito Blue.
That okay.
I would say.
That would be cool, but.
Yeah, why not? He doesn't have to be anywhere near as good as the LL one, obviously, but just
just like Zamasu, I guess, for me, like the red Zamasu, like that model, I guess. Just Zamasu.
Yajirobe.
If someone said future Yajirobe, dude.
That's not a reprint because he's not in the game yet, so unfortunately.
I would have said Supreme Kai in that case.
But somebody said we have 2 mice, but one of them is extreme and both of them are pretty old, so could actually be a good one.
Better get a third one, kinda.
Yeah, I kind of would be down with Mai, but we're also going to get the dual unit, right? The Trunks and Mai here soon too.
Yeah, but we don't know if it's going to be one of those, like assists where she comes in and like the ultimate and that's it.
Yeah,
I'm always kind of I'm always kind of underwhelmed with that.
It's just not hype enough. If they're just gonna copy paste the unit that already exists, I probably wouldn't even do it if it was Zamai. Definitely would have to be like one of the Super Saiyan Blues, Zamasu.
What about Beerus?
No, I probably wouldn't do that either, because he'd be more God.
Gowasu would be cool. I like Gowasu.
Beerus doesn't even ever go to the future.
True.
So.
You're right.
What about Whis? Is he a factor in that?
No, he doesn't go to the future either. The only one would be.
Sparking
Well, don't they
Whis
go
is
there?
sick.
No, they don't.
Aren't
go
they there when VB is fighting Zamasu? Aren't
Only
Beerus
Zeno-
and
Only Zeno.
No,
goes.
Gowasu is there, right?
Yeah, Gowasu.
Yeah,
is
Gowasu.
there, and Supreme Kai.
And
oh, you're right, and Supreme Kai. You're right.
That's my boy. Supreme Kai's my boy, dude.
all right. I guess we heard pretty much everybody. So
Yeah, a
let's-
playable version of Supreme Kai would be nice. But yeah, you can move to the next question.
fair. All right. The next question is coming from Belbin, asking, considering how broken Android 18 is and the fact that Yellow Cell is very close to completely unviable as their only replacement, would you Zenkai their extreme story units, first form cell Android 20, to help free to play, or would this be a path to 0-tier status for YYB Androids? So I guess to shorten this up, would you Zenkai the Android story units, the yellow ones?
I mean, it's bound to happen eventually anyway, so I guess sure, why not? Again, I've never done any of the EX Zenkai units because I just don't really care, so I probably would skip it, but it would be good for free-to-plays, people that were interested in it. I mean, as we already seen, like, the Nappa Vegeta Raditz team, like, they can put up some results. They're not, like, top tier, but they can compete with other, sparking teams. I wouldn't say like other high-tier Zenkai sparking teams, but it's an option. Or the Ginyu Force. I know you'd love that.
Yes,
Pom.
sir.
They just
Well,
all 6 of them.
Toku Sentai.
There's something to be
That'd be
considered
nuts.
here. When we get more content that requires us to use more units, you can't just say, I'm going to run the best team in the game and call it at that. You're going to want a whole collection of units that fit in various circumstances.
And I have a feeling that might factor in for this new PvE mode, especially that they're planning too. So I don't know how much Zenkai specifically will play a factor, but you're definitely going to need a library of units to play it, I would assume.
Yeah, so not the free-to-play EX ones, reprints, whatever. Like these units fill those roles really well. It's like filler units. And like if you keep collecting these kind of units, they keep Zenkaiing them. Even if you say that like tier 0, right? If you soon you'll have enough yellow Zenkai units to run an EX yellow Zenkai team, right? And so it's just, I don't know. I think it's good for the game every time they do one.
I
What
agree.
about you, Asdeek?
Honestly, well, I like someone said in the chat too that it's just free CC, so I'm always more than welcome to these kind of events coming in. So that's pretty much like just how it is for me. As it is right now, I have like all the other the Zenkai EX units, but I don't have them soul boosted at all. But just to go ahead and just get the missions out of the way. But like how I definitely agree with Prof, where we are, because as it is right now, if you're like a new player, like it's more than likely you're not going to be able to get to the USTR, right? Because of lack of units, lack of like a lot. You're going to struggle with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anytime that you get new units like this, it's just always something that you should probably capitalize on. Especially if like their EX units are going to be a little bit updated. They're not going to be broken, but they're going to be good for PvE and stuff like this, maybe. So.
And do your one skip every day for the 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, the question is, how good are those extreme Zenkais going to be? Because if, they could be blue Frieza good, or they could be, like yellow Vegeta or even Raditz kind of good or not good. So I don't think.
Well, I guess.
Well, 19 and
Yellow-
20 have the last cover change, if I'm not mistaken.
Isn't the yellow first form cell an Android's health buffer too?
Yes.
He is.
So that would be pretty useful for the free-to-play Androids team. Yeah.
I could see them being useful. I mean, they're also future units. If you're talking about that yellow cell, I mean, it's like we were saying, these units are probably not going to be seen on the top tier teams in PvP ever, but they're going to be good for when you're trying to make a team for USTR and you have that odd requirement of running a regeneration unit or something in, well, here's my extra cell I had from this one event.
I mean, I think it's going to happen regardless. So this question is more of not an if, but a when. Like they're going to Zenkai like Gresh is hesitant to say like if you watch his videos, it'll be like, I don't think some of these units will ever Zenkai. I mean, I think they will. It's just gonna be a matter of time. Like some of them, like IT Goku, they're gonna wait a long time before they Zenkai probably. But to complete the unit's kit, I mean, if this game goes years and years, like 7 years, like Dokkan, then you're gonna need to Zenkai all the units to complete the levels and their cards and stuff. Like you don't complete a unit until 1400% soul boost with like the level, red card level, the yellow card levels, the blue card levels, etc. So every character is inherently designed to be Zenkai. So I just think it's going to be an if, not a when, not an if.
Never forget the old buffing system.
Yeah, that was free. Didn't make them any money, and it cost them a lot of time. And time is money, so that's why we have Zenkai now.
Never forget.
Rest in peace. I guess we'll move on to the next question. And that's coming from our Twitter, from JRPG Fan, and so on. And the question is, do you think that the current 50-stage format for Legends is good, or do you think it needs to be revamped since the earlier stages can be a bit too easy for some people?
I think it's boring. I mean, we've been over this a million times. I think it's boring as heck, but it's something easy for them to implement. It gives reasonably good rewards. I mean, in terms of when I'm done with them, I think they're fine, but the act of actually doing them is boring and annoying. So if they could find some type of way to make them fun, I'm all for that, but I'd rather have them than not have anything. So I don't want to complain too much about it, right? So it's kind of my take on it. Like, the PvE in this game is just not fun. Nothing they've ever done has made it fun. I'm putting a lot of hope into this new game mode that they're designing, which is going to be both PvE and PvP at the same time. I'm really hoping that's going to be a new way to enjoy the game when I don't feel like being sweaty in online PvP. So that's where all of my chips are going on the roulette wheel table. Like, new PvP mode, I'm betting 100 on black. Like, come on, do it. Let's go. All in.
Okay.
But yeah, again, these events are better than not having anything, but they're boring. That's my ultimate.
Auto gang.
Yeah, it's my ultimate decision on them.
What about the other guys?
Well, honestly, I feel like well, besides Nas, because he says that pretty much most of the events are boring, or the PvE events, and I definitely do agree to that. What do you guys think? Like, do you guys think that there's any like fun events? Because it's kind of hard for me to like narrow it down, like in terms of like just PvE content.
I liked Challenge Rush back in the day, but I hated when I worked really hard to complete all the challenges for the Bardock Challenge Rush, and then they gave out the calling card that I worked really hard for back in the day for like 2 gold tokens or whatever. It was like, this must be a strange dream or something, and it's Bardock. I worked really hard for that, man.
Oh, you mean the
PvP? You could just buy it, the PvP message.
Yeah, the PvP message, sorry.
Yeah, that was the same as the 50-stage cooler event back in the day. Like, that one was nearly impossible for people to do the 51 unless you literally had, a really good account and you had the boost characters or whatever at the time. So the title was one of the rarest titles in the game, other than like winning first place in PvP.
Mm-hmm.
It was the cooler title, was the rarest one in the game, and then the event came back after some time, super easy, boom, everyone had it.
Yeah, the PvP message really rubbed me off the wrong way, just because like it was like, I thought it was like an exclusive thing, because to get that you had to complete all the challenges, not just beat it. And when that Challenge Rush came out, like that was pretty difficult, man.
Yeah, it would be nice if there were a few more exclusive items in the game that came out and didn't come back again, outside of like varsity jackets for Shallot for tournament participants only and stuff like that,
or like those items for the anniversary, like the Master Roshi whatever they can use or something.
I think it's one of the most hilariously, ironically sad things in the entire world that Milcool won that tournament, got that 100% 1 out of 1 unique Hercule costume for Shallot, and now he quit playing the game. So that costume's not even in circulation in the player pool. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that is crazy.
that's cool that there's exclusive items like that. I wish there were just more of them so that more people could enjoy some stuff and be like, look, this is what I got in year 1. It shows how long I've been playing the game. You know how long I've been playing the game because I have this item or title or PvP message or skin for Shallot or whatever. And it doesn't come back around to invalidate that, right? That would be
so you guys agree with like my opinion on that then, like that we should have more exclusive stuff that like doesn't get brought back, like cosmetic wise?
I think there should be some exclusive items, yeah. Like besides just like, oh, you played PvP during 2020, so here's the 2020 fan of title, like.
And you can't even read it because the font's so small.
Yeah.
As long as it's not like too hard to obtain, I think it's fine. Like I don't know. I'm kind of like a little bit nitpicky with it.
Some hard to obtain items would be neat, but yeah, I don't know.
I miss Challenge Rush.
Yeah,
I do too.
Alrighty.
I don't know why I haven't brought that back in a while.
Yeah, I wonder too.
But to specifically put one last final note to this person's question, I do wish there was like a key, because they have this whole key system in the game now for unlocking events and stuff. I wish there was a key that you could get, like if you're over Z level like 300 or something, where you could just skip to level 30 or something like that. Like, that could be a simple fix that could make this boring event less boring, but then it's also them deving content that half the player base would just skip through. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, but yeah, I don't know.
That's fair. All right, and with that said, we're going to move on to the next question, and the question is coming on Twitter from ShritDG, and I think this will appeal to people who know Dokkan. I'm sorry. Any ideas for an exchange mechanic in Legends? Maybe an SAB Goku and Vegeta that starts as Vegeta and exchanges into Goku, or a Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta that exchanges into Super Saiyan 3 Goku from the Kid Buu fight. So I guess it means you pop the main, and then the one character you had before that you started out as gets replaced with another one. So
we've talked about this before, and I think the best and most likely implementation of this is going to be like a Goku and Vegeta combo assist unit that use the main and like fuse into Gogeta or Vegeta or something like that, right? That would be the Legends way to do this, the most Legends feeling way, I think. Your example is more like Dokkan, like you said, where it's like an active skill and the characters like physically swap to a different character model, but it still is that same character. I think it'd be neat if they did that. Like, say you start off with a character that's the red Vegeta and he swaps into like a blue, it like changes his color typing and just swaps the character model. I just don't know how complicated they could really dive into that, because that'd be multiple character models for the same character slots, and it sounds like a lot of dev time.
But you already do have that for transformations, right? So you have 2 character models for, let's say, the transforming Gogeta, and it would just, I think it would just be a transformation mechanic, just that the character model changes to a different character. So for the Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta example, for example, let's say your HP goes under 50, now you're allowed to pop the main ability, and you know, every other character, like a lot of other characters, heal on main ability as well. So you could just say, okay, now Super Saiyan 3 Goku comes in and saves Vegeta. Basically, that would be like the plot line. Healing a little bit, then you would have Super Saiyan 3, and it would be like transformed stats. I think that's...
You could go absolutely nuts with this idea. I mean, if you sat down, like I already, while you were talking about it, just came up with an idea in my head, like Piccolo, and if you do a special cover change with him, he'll do the animation like where he stepped in front of Nappa's attack to shield Gohan, and then he'll die, and then he'll revive like Revival Cell 2.0 as Goku coming back from Snake Way just in time to resume the fight, right? Like, you could have
you could do a lot of things with that.
Yeah, you could have all types of ideas.
The sky's the limit with it, dude. Honestly, I'm pretty hopeful for them, because I feel like they have stepped up their game a lot, like, and they're continuing to go ahead and show us that they have like a lot. They put in a lot of love to these animations, right? Like, even with the Demon King Piccolo, like, you have him like with the coughing up the Dragon Balls and stuff like that, like kind of just like making like the atmosphere like of him summoning Shenron, wishing for his youth. And, you know, it might not be as big as Shenron actually just popping in, you know, but it still kind of has like that, it has a really cool feel to it. And so I can definitely see them doing some like really fancy stuff in the future.
I feel like that could be a cool way to approach those dual units that they're now using as assists, like Trunks and Mai. as well, right? Mai starts off the fight. At one point, Trunks tags in, using the main ability, for example, and then Mai is a support type, and then Trunks will be more of like I don't know, strike or melee type and doing like the damage, for example. Or maybe Mai can set him up.
I would wager a guess that the first implementation of this mechanic we're gonna see is like the way I initially mentioned it, where it's like base form Zamasu and Rose, they fuse into Fusion Zamasu. Base Vegeta and Goku, they fuse into Gogeta. Something like that makes the most sense with how they could integrate this and make it quick and smooth and easy for the Legends gameplay experience. But nothing is necessarily stopping them from doing like multiple characters on one card, like transformation units, but like you said, transform from one to another. Nothing's stopping them from doing that. It's not, that wouldn't be Kompu Gacha because it's just one unit with 2 models, right? So
right.
Not to be like a buzzkill, but I always kind of go the most generic route. Like I don't think we're gonna see that for a little while. I want to. My God, some of these units would be amazing, but I'm not super duper hopeful about it. Right?
That does sound like a year 4 or 5 type of move right there. Like when they've really when they've completely gone through the whole roster. We have like the vanilla versions of MUI Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and all the other ones, Full Power Jiren, etc. And then they're just like, all right, well, what can we do this year? And like, let's start doing this new type of thing.
When did assist characters come out in Dokkan?
The first one. Oh, the transforming, swapping? That's a question for Palm. I have no idea.
The exchange characters? Good question.
Was it Gohan and Goku? Trunks and Vegeta? Was that the first one?
Yeah, I think so.
That would have been like year 4-ish, like 4.5. So we're closing in on that. It definitely could happen like the 3rd anniversary, but I would see it more being, next like 4th anniversary, next summer, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right, I think we have time for one more question. And
can I give my input on this?
No,
super quick.
Go ahead.
No,
go ahead, Shermid.
Okay, so real quick, I want to because I actually have a couple ideas about this. So the way I would want the exchange mechanic to work in this is kind of like it does the animation of when you cover change into an instant transmission unit like Super Saiyan 3, right? So they kind of just like zoom off, kind of like Tenkaichi 3, like real quick, right? Like the animation, super quick when you pop the main, they pop off. And I had some like cool character ideas, like they could do like from the Cell fight in the Cell Saga, they could do like long-haired Trunks, and then when he gets taken down, Vegeta swaps in. Like that would be more of like a revival thing, but like when Trunks takes that shot and he dies, Vegeta comes in, right? Or they could even do like, Revival Nappa from GT. Okay, this is more a joke, but Revival Nappa from GT, he dies, but when he's when he loses his health, Vegeta comes from GT and then kills Nappa. So it's just, you get that satisfaction, right? You know what I'm saying? But then, like, memes aside though, I would like to see an exchange unit of Zamasu from the Future Arc and Goku Black when Zamasu's pinning Goku and telling him about like the Chi-Chi thing.
What, and talking about when Goku
Black the 2v2
stabs Goku through Zamasu?
Yeah, like the 2v2 fight that was happening with like Vegeta and Goku Black, and then
that would actually work.
I would like that.
Either way, like you could use Zamasu's green card, and he could just grab the character, and then like suicide hold him, and then Rose comes out and nukes them both with the Kamehameha, like they do in the show.
Yeah, like in Fighters.
Exactly.
Too.
Or the one where Rose, like Zamasu's talking to Goku, and then Rose just comes behind Zamasu and stabs you through Zamasu.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, again, I think all these are great ideas. It just comes down to the developers being like, this is worth the time investment that it's going to take us to make this. And as long as that meets their parameters or whatever, then hopefully we will start to see some stuff like this. And we know they do listen to the podcast, so hopefully they'll listen to some of these ideas and their corporate overlords can, work around it and find
give them some dev time.
Yeah.
All right, we have time for one more question. That one's coming from Nazir. And the question is, would you like it if they made an 18 and Gohan level unit for each typing, so I guess each tag, so that many people can have one or two and bring the value down off, like, I guess, 18 and Gohan?
No, I kind of would like
No.
them to just leave them as a mistake and not repeat that mistake. Because it's just not fun playing as a Gohan where you outplay them down to where that's their last character and you're pretty much guaranteed to win. But nope, it's Gohan. So all 3 of your characters die to 2 blast cards. Like, it's just, that's not
Very fun.
It's not fun. Like, this game is already inherently RNG based, and adding that, like, on top of it is just, like, it's too much. It's too much. But understandably, power creep is eventually going to take us to a place in time where every character is going to be as good or better than these 2 units. But by that time, again, every single character will be like that. So
yeah, about to say that the best way of handling the Gohan in 18 situation is just, you know, how you look at the base stat totals of units, they slowly go up over time. They slowly get 10-20% more damage added to their kits than they typically see on other units. And if you let this go on long enough, then you frankly, you don't even run into Gohan that much anymore. You see him, but I see far more androids and other
18
units
after
running
he
around.
came back just surged.
Yeah, so
they will age out naturally if you just don't disturb things. But if you keep creating units like this, it'll never end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also don't think it would be cool because then also you would, you know, try and get all the Zenkai units if you're one of those all over the place people that doesn't really have like a main team. And yeah, as you said, I don't think they're as big of a threat as they used to be. For some reason, 18 is now more prevalent and also more annoying than Gohan. Maybe because they released so many blue units, but yeah, I think it's fine the way it is. You can still kind of play around it.
Yeah, as long as they don't keep making the same mistake over and over again, the game will survive. But if they were to keep making mistakes like that, eventually the game would commit seppuku. Like, it's just, you can't. Like, I distinctly remember, I don't remember what character it was, but there was like certain Pokemon characters like came out in the card game, the trading card game, that like they banned because they're just too strong, right? They literally ruined the game. I don't remember if it was like I don't remember, but I was running like Bidoof and I was talking about it to someone on a stream like a long, long time ago. But there's just certain characters that come out, ruin games, and you can't keep repeating that mistake. You can make a few mistakes, but you can't just keep doing it over and over again.
Fair enough. All right, and I think we can call it a day here. So that wraps up the podcast. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And before we go, first off, we have a new video coming out in about 17 minutes. This is the round 4 recap of League and stuff. Don't forget to also go to our Twitter and send us your submissions for the fan-made characters for Elif, Rose, and Trunks and Mai, so we can be featuring them in the videos. And with that said, have a good rest of your week. The podcast will go on in about 24 hours on YouTube if you want to rewatch parts of it. And we'll see you all next Sunday. Take care. Stay safe.
Looking at the schedule for the rest of the day, y'all, I think we have Truforia coming on at 4 p.m., a Genshin stream at 7 p.m., and then myself, possibly Nate, possibly Professor as well. Like, I'm trying to play some Monopoly or get some type of party game together. But that should be hopefully around 10 to 10:30, 9:30 p.m.
EST, right?
Yeah, EST. Everything's EST.
Oh, no, EDT now because we had
EDT,
daylight.
Yeah, because of daylight savings time and whatnot. So daylight savings time in full effect. But yeah, so in about 26 minutes, Truforia, 7 p.m. Genshin, about 10 p.m. myself, Nate, Professor potentially, will be back. So we got a full day of streaming for you guys, a lot of entertainment hopefully. If you haven't hit the follow button already, please consider doing so. And we appreciate, also let me run through quickly. During the podcast, we had Plugman7, 4 months at Tier 1. Appreciate you, dog. The loyalty is not unnoticed. We had Predator, subscribe for 1 month, Tier 1. We appreciate you. And, of course, Sensei, thank you for the raid when we first started off. So that should be everything, y'all. We look forward to seeing you again in about 20 minutes for Truforia stream. And, yeah, like Palm said, we'll catch you later.
Bye,
later, guys.
See you later, guys.